Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. In this video, this is going to be my ultimate Kinsect guide. Now, I know I haven't done a tutorial for the insect glaive yet. I've done some previews from the beta, which you can check out, but I wanted to cover this first because it seems to be the most misunderstood thing, and I don't blame people. I think the game does a very poor job of explaining how the Kinsects work, and they're actually really cool. There's 10 different types of Kinsects and 4 major archetypes, and they greatly change your playstyle. First thing I think the game made a mistake of was assigning rarity to these things. For example, you look at my rarity 4 one here, which is a powder type that does poison and paralysis, and it has auto attack frequency up. Look at its stats. It's 144 power, 11 speed, 20 heal, which means something different, but we'll get to that later. Compared to my level 1, it's identical. This is a rarity 1 bug. So the rarity only means that the game has unlocked it for you. It actually has nothing to do with how strong it is. And I think once you realize that and you start messing around with all 10, there's actually 20 in total, but it's split between 10 blunt and 10 sever types, you'll discover that these are very interesting. And there may be other ones that you want to actually try out using, because right now it seems that everybody, and even myself for quite some time, was pretty much telling everybody to use this bug, the Carnage Beetle. But honestly, I do not think that it is the best Kinsect. It is a very good one, but there's plenty of reasons why you may want to use a different one, and I'm going to cover all of it in this video, so sit back and relax. We're going to get into some heavy numbers here, and we're going to have some fun. So in order to start all this out, I'm going to have to talk about the types really fast. So there's 4 types of Kinsect. There is normal, which is your first starting one. There's nothing special about them. They're just normal Kinsects. And then there's assist types. These are ones that when you have a triple up, which is red, orange, and white, which lasts for 90 seconds. There are certain attacks, for example, the finisher of the X button combo, or the finishers of the A button attacks, in which the Kinsect will attack with you. So it's just extra damage. It's fantastic if you have like blunt and you're hitting the head, you can get a KO, but that only works on specific attacks and during the triple up. Then there's powder types with those, as long as you mark the monster, whether it's by pressing ZR or using that special switch skill, the Tetra Seal, it will just start automatically attacking the monster and leaving a powder residue, which has all sorts of really great effects like poison, paralysis, heal, and all that kind of stuff. Then finally we have speed. The main thing about speed is, one, of course, yes, it moves very fast, but it also has charge attacks, and all the different types of speed types have charge attacks, so understanding them is going to be very important. Now, one area that I don't want you to think too much about is the duration of the extracts, because honestly, once you get used to the insect glaive, you're going to be able to have a triple up pretty much the entire time. So the fact that red only lasts for 40 seconds for assist, and it lasts for 60 seconds for normal, it means nothing. One, it's much easier to get red as an assist anyways, and you're not just going to be sitting there with red extract, or you shouldn't be. So I find it interesting that the values are different, but it's not important. The main thing to know here is that the triple up, which is what you're going to be going for, gives you like earplugs, large, and all that kind of good stuff. That's 90 seconds, and that's across the board of all these bugs. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go through and walk through the 10 types of Kinsects that we have and what makes each one of them very special. So the first one we're going to cover is the normal type, which has the heal, the bonus heal ability. So this, you'll see in the chart below here, has all the levels and all the differences of how it affects the power of the bug. If you notice, it's not that big of a difference, honestly. If you're going from like a level 5 glaive to a level 7 glaive, you're talking like 38 attack, which is not huge when we're only talking in the hundreds. The speed difference is not that huge. In heal, when it says heal, what it actually means is recovery rate for when the stamina recovers when the bug is on your arm. It doesn't mean like heal as in potion. So the numbers are not that big. I know they might look big, but they're not in the greater scheme of things. So don't be freaked out if your glaive is like a level 5 or 6 or 7. It is nice, especially if you're a speedrunner and you're using insect glaives for maximum power. You might care about the level. But for the most part, I actually don't think it's a deal breaker. So, you know, I think that opens the door to many more Kinsects. I think seeing Kinsect level and seeing like 5 and 7, it feels very different, but it's not for a lot of these bugs. So I want you to keep that in mind. So this is a crazy good bug. So for this one, every single time you grab an extract, so I'm going to show you here in my game here, I've got no armor on, no skills. We're just going to do it like that. We're going to go ahead and we are going to equip this one, which is the heal bug, which has the bonus heal. We'll put on blunt for now. And this will heal 30 units of health every single time we grab any extract. And yes, this does stack with recovery up. So with like level 3, you'll be recovering 39 health per extract, which is kind of crazy. So let me go ahead here and damage myself so that you can see how great this is. Honestly, using a glaive like this with the bonus heal, you will never, almost never need a potion. It's quite amazing. It's even better, I would say, like way better than even like a health augment in previous Monster Hunter games. This thing is just great. And it's rarity 1. You would think that it's not a very strong bug, but it really is. And it's not just for healing. So check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and get my triple up here. So we get our red. You see, it moves fast. There we go. Have you noticed all my health just going up? That's right. Every single time I grab an extract, I'm getting 30 health, which is crazy. That's actually the same amount of recovery you get from doing the Recall Kinsect Silkbind attack. Now, one thing I want to throw out here, which the game I don't think it actually teaches you this, is that there is a very big difference between blunt type Kinsects and severing. Not only does severing, of course, help you out with cutting off tails and stuff like that, and blunt helps you get KOs. For example, I can sit there and hit the head of this thing and actually get a KO. It's actually pretty strong. There is another big difference, because if it was just this, then I would always say go for blunt, because there's no reason to be going for severing, because you can get KOs so easily with this type of bug. The difference, though, has to do with elemental. If you're using a like a raw weapon or something with like a status ailment, there's almost no reason for you ever to use a severing type, unless you really want to help cutting off tails. I don't know. I doubt it, though. You're almost always better going to be off using the blunt type, because it will give you the actual benefit of being able to KO a monster. But if you saw the amount of damage we were doing per hit here, let's check that out again. So we're doing 29 per hit. So let's change this over to a severing type. Severing types get elemental added to them. Blunt do not. So if you notice, 29 now became 36. You can imagine when we start getting into the assist attacks or the charged attacks, the difference becomes quite large, actually, if you're using an elemental weapon. So keep that in mind. If you're using an elemental, you may want to seriously consider using a severing type in order to get additional damage, but it depends on the bug that you're using, of course. So that covers the normal heal up type. So let's move on to type 2, which is speed. And there's 3 different types of speed Kinsects in the game. All of them are fantastic, mind you. There's no right answer on which one is better or better recommended. It all goes down to playstyle. So let's choose blunt so I can show you the difference. But now that we're in the speed territory, it means that our bugs are going to naturally charge. Watch that little colored part of my glaive. It goes blue. No matter what glaive you're using, it is going to change color. And that means when I send out my Kinsect next, it's going to do a charged attack, which is about 3 times more powerful than a normal one. So you see here we're getting 25 on those, and we had 81 on the charge attack. Now the charge attack also has really great stun value as well. I'll go over the motion values later, but it's generally about 3 times as powerful as a normal attack. So we sit here attacking, we're going in here, keep an eye on the blue, and we can end it with a very strong, powerful attack. So that's 81. Now what this triple up bug does is normally a triple up lasts for 90 seconds. This will extend it to 108 seconds, so 20% longer. So the cool thing here is that this actually works with Power Prolonger 3 as well. So Power Prolonger and this both have similar effects, and they both stack, which means if you have both activated, like you have a triple up time speed type and you have Power Prolonger 3, you'll get a triple up time of 151 seconds. That's 2 minutes and 31 seconds. That's 2.5 minutes. That's crazy. So if you really don't want to worry about grabbing extracts and you just want to pummel on a monster, this might be a really good choice for you. And it does charge up, which means that you're not going to have to worry about sending out your Kinsect a lot. which means that at the end of any combo, just send it out, and you'll get that wonderful charge attack, and you'll just be adding in a bunch of damage. Now remember, I said that you'll be able to get elemental bonuses on elemental glaives. Check out what happens when we do this with a charged up attack. So for example, this is a severing speed triple up time instead of blunt. Okay, wait for it to go blue. Boom, 103, 32, 33, 33. So you can see that is a really good damage increase. So let's go ahead and get our triple up here. Whoops. And you notice that like we can just be doing combos. And then whenever we get the chance, we can just nail it in. So that's 103 right there. And it gets even more powerful later on. So that's a very good bug. Now let's move over to the second type of speed one. This is one of my favorites in the game. This is the fast charge one. So this gives it approximately 30% faster charge. So instead of it taking about 5 seconds, it only takes 3.5 seconds to get your charge. So let's go ahead and equip this. I especially like this on blunt, even though I am using an elemental weapon right now. Let me show you why though. So we have the fast charge, and I'm going to put on blunt. The reason I like this is that it's very fast to get a charge, which means at the end of pretty much every combo, you can just go boom and get your 94. So here we are attacking. If you notice, it's already charged. Boom, another 94. And it just adds up really fast. Boom. And with the blunt, we're getting a massive amount of stun as well. So very cool as well. This is not a huge difference if you want the larger triple up time. You're just giving it up for the ability to be able to use the charge attack a little bit more. So this will be a great speed type if you are into mixing in this with your combos. Like if you just make your combo finisher always a Kinsect attack, then this is a fantastic bug to use. Okay, now the last type of speed, which is the chain attack. This is another very good one. So basically what this does is it takes normal charging time. So if you notice, it's blue. And we're going to send out our bug. It's going to do one small hit and then four very strong hits. It does really good stun damage. The only thing you have to be careful of is it looks like it's all attacking in one concentrated spot, and it is. But if the monster moves, the bug isn't moving. It's not attacking a body part. It's attacking a location, which means that if the head is moving all around, you may not get all those hits off on the head. But if the head is stationary or anywhere close, that's a great way to rack up a lot of damage. Now the way I like to use this one is basically after a combo. So let me go ahead and get the triple up here, and I'll show you what I do. So basically I'll be going in, I'll be hitting the monster, and then, you know, I'm boom, 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 and then I will send it off. Then you can send it back while it's still in its attack animation, and it's not going to interrupt it at all. So I can hit send back here, it will finish its attack, and I can just keep on going, and now it's on my arm, which is great because then I can use it immediately and go straight into combos. Let me show you the damage increase once again between blunt and severing, because honestly, if you're not going for a lot of KOs, or if you're up against a monster that does not KO very often, it's definitely worth going for severing if you're using elemental. I'll show you the difference here. Yeah, 36, 36, 36, that's good damage. And more than the other one. If you remember, we were getting like in the 20s in the last one, so it adds up really fast. So you may be asking yourself, okay, well, what's the motion value of a charged attack for a Kinsect? And here is the chart. So a normal Kinsect extract, and this is with any type of Kinsect, not just the speed ones, it's a motion value of 20. Again, another reason why, you know, the difference between 144 attack versus 116 is not that huge of a difference. It does have 18 stun if you're using a blunt type. For the charged attacks, it's roughly a little bit more than triple. So we have 65 motion value, we get 45 stun, and 35 exhaust. This is fantastic, obviously, because 45 stun is quite powerful. Just a few hits of this will be enough. The reason why I prefer using the fast charge versus the combo one, the chain attack, is because it's all concentrated in one hit. So I know I'm going to hit the head. All of that stun damage is going to go to the head, where if you're using the fast combo one, if the monster's moving around, maybe not all the hits are going to hit the head. So it's a risk thing. It depends on your playstyle. For the chain attack, we have the hit 1 and hit 2, 3, and 4. And we have the differences here. So the first hit is pretty weak. It's 8 motion with 10 stun and 10 exhaust, and then 20 motion for hits 2, 3, and 4, and 15 apiece for stun, and 10 apiece for exhaust. Okay, now it's time to move on to everyone's favorite type of Kinsect, which is the assist type. The assist types open up as you get further in the game, and they're quite powerful, but they don't have some of the perks that some of the other bugs do, but they're all very nice. My absolute favorite of all of these has to be the Phobito, the dual color defense, because orange is generally the hardest thing to get in this game, at least in my opinion. With this one, anytime you grab red, you get orange. Anytime you grab white, you get orange as well. It's a slow bug. All of these are slow, the assist ones. These are for when you're really up close and you're just going ham on a monster. So we go here and we get the red, boom, you see we get orange with it as well. We get white, we get orange with it as well. We get orange, we get white with it. So no matter where we hit, we're going to get orange, which is fantastic because white's not hard to get, and if you actually hit the orange, you're going to get white. And the only thing it means is that you have to hit like the head in order to get the red or wherever it is in the monster. That's not that difficult. I think red is arguably the easiest color to get, and this is a very fast way to get a triple up. Now check out those white damage numbers when you see me doing the final A button attacks here. It adds up to quite a bit. This is where the assist bug will come into play. 24, 16, 41. And because this is a blunt type, it's doing blunt damage, which is why I was able to KO the monster. Now if we just do a normal X attack, you'll notice we don't see it. Or if we send our bug out and we do the A button attacks, we won't see it either. So the Kinsect has to be on your shoulder when you do these attacks. Again, you're just going to get your triple up, and then you're only going to attack with your weapon. That's this style, which I think a lot of people enjoy. If we go down to the final X attack, we'll see that the bug then jumps in. 24, 29, and another one, so some good damage. Even for the Kinsect attacks, it joins in. So we get a good 97 damage from our Kinsect on that one. And it's just really good. Because you are going to be attacking the head a lot and trying to get stuns with this type because you're really not using your Kinsect outside of getting the triple up, it's highly recommended to use a Carnage build, or a blunt type, I'm sorry, because you'll be able to get the KOs. But if you're using an elemental glaive against a monster that's weak against the element, I would recommend using the Sever type as well because the damage really adds up fast. Okay, so let's move on to the second type here. So that was the dual color defense. I know it says rarity 2. Ignore that. I'm serious. 162 power is top class for level 7. The speed is bad on all of these, and the healing gauge here is actually pretty fast, where it's a lot lower in the other ones. So let's go over to the next one, which is the dual color speed. So this one, you guessed it, it's not that much faster. This just means that no matter where you hit, you're going to get white. So if you grab red, you're going to get white with it. So you see there. Or if we grab orange, we're going to get white with it as well. And of course, if we get white, we're going to get white as well. And that comes with red. So this basically just ensures that you always have white, which will allow you to jump higher and further and basically augment all of your other powers. So very nice. Again, there is both a severing and a blunt version of this. And then arguably the most popular beetle in the game, and I think for speed running it definitely is good because you're going to be using your glaive to be very aggressive. You're going to be you're going to be right up on the monster the entire time. It's got a very bad stamina heal rate, which is only 10, which means depending on the moves, you could run it out where it cannot join in. This is another reason why people don't use this with Tetraseal. And this just ensures that you're always going to get red. So no matter where you hit, you're going to get red. And red is arguably the most important color for the Insect Glaive, but it's also not the hardest to get in my opinion. You see here we get really top class damage on a lot of these hits, 108. So this is really good if you're going for just absolute raw power. You want to get some KOs on the monster as well. This is a great bug. But if you notice, like my gauge here, watch the Kinsect gauge. If you're too aggressive, you could actually run it down so it doesn't have quite enough stamina, but you know, it's manageable. So this is an incredibly good bug, so I understand why everyone recommends it. I personally like the defense type more though, if I'm being honest here. And that is all of the assist types. And finally, the final type of Kinsect is the powder type. So this is a very special one. This is more similar to what you have in Monster Hunter World, where if you mark the monster, and there's two ways, which I'll show you how you can do that. If you mark a monster, then for a duration of period, which is generally about, I would say, 14-15 seconds, the bug will attack the monster and generate dusts that you can hit, which will do different things like paralysis or poison, healing, and stuff like that. So in order to mark a monster, you can press the ZR button. This will do an attack that also marks. Now the most important thing here is that you don't want to do these until you get your triple up, because every time you call it back, it destroys the marking. So you're going to get your triple up, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to mark it and just let it go. And it's going to generate all these dusts. Generally for this type of bug, the one with the stamina use bonus, you're going to get about 5, I think, dusts before it runs out. If you notice, the stamina is going down on the bug right now. And if you manage to mark the head, you can actually get KOs as well, which is fantastic. And then the bug comes automatically back onto my shoulder when it runs out of stamina. Another thing to note here is if you use this with Recall Kinsect, it will also destroy the marking. So it's not that recommended that you want to use it. What this really shines, I think, though, is the Tetraseal Slash. This is a fantastic combo with the A button, which will auto-mark a monster, and it's very powerful. So this is something that you'll want to be using. So if you notice here, it already marked it, and then we can go in and we can combo and do stuff. If we want to remark, we can just do the A button attack again, and it'll remark. So this is a very, very good move for powder type Kinsect. So if you're messing around with them, try it out. It takes a little getting used to, but I think you'll like it. So for these ones, like, while each one of the powder Kinsects has a different special ability, they all basically work out the same when it comes to overall powders and the amount. So for this one, you're getting pure paralysis, bubbles, or poison, and you're going to get about 5 procs when it runs out, because you get the stamina use slowed down. For the next type, we have attack frequency, so they'll hit the monster more frequently. Instead of every 4.2 seconds, it'll attack every 3.2 seconds. But the stamina doesn't change for this one, so it ends up working out to be about the same. The difference here is that it alterates. So you're going to get, for this one on the left here, you're going to get 1 dust for paralysis, then the next attack is going to be 1 for poison, then 1 for paralysis, then 1 for poison, and you're generally only going to get 4 clouds in each time that you use this thing. So let me show you how that looks so you can see the difference between the frequency that it attacks. Again, I've tested these things out quite a bit, and they generally equal the same. I think in the long run, it just depends on how much do you want to care about your Kinsect, and do you want 2 powders or do you want 1? Let's go ahead and do the Tetraseal. Boom! And watch the frequency in which it does the attacks. It's a little bit faster than normal. It doesn't mean that they're going to get an extremely more amount of dust before it has to come back to your arm, because he almost gets it, but he has to come back. But you can blow those up. So it's basically just for effect. So don't think too much about it. Then finally, the final type of powder Kinsects. Again, these are it's just a different ability, which is kind of neat. Idle Stamina Recovery Up. This is actually a really interesting one, because with the powder Kinsects, you kind of have to manage your stamina. You have to look at the Kinsect and say, okay, I don't want to mark it when it only has half stamina, right? You want to give it a few seconds to charge up, but that can be kind of a pain in the rear end. So if you find that to be a pain and you want to use Blast, which is generally good against pretty much anything, we can go over here. Boom, we've marked it. It's going to go ahead and do its hits here. We're going to get our blast damage. We're going to make sure very carefully not to call it back on accident. We just keep marking it and doing stuff. And watch how fast it fills up when it comes back. It's much faster, I would say, than the other ones, which means now I can just mark it now. Boom, and it's okay. Anyways, I hope this gives you guys a full in-depth guide into the Kinsects. I know this was a long video because I wanted to be very thorough here. But I found it just interesting because, you know, I was tricked up. I thought when I saw Kinsect level like 3 or 5, I was like, oh my gosh, that's useless. It's going to be horrible. But then after messing around, I realized that's not the case at all. For example, like the heal bug here, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of power at level 3, which face it, almost none of the glaives are level 3 at the end of the game, only the rampages. But even then, the speed 7 and stuff like that, all of this is super useful still. So it's not the end of the world depending on your playstyle. Now if I want to go out for straight out attack and I want the Carnage Beetle to be doing as much damage as possible, then yeah, you know, 144 is still really good. On a level 3 glaive, that's crazy. It can go up to like 180, but it's not that big of a difference. So I really wouldn't sweat it. But I do like using stuff again like this, where is it, the fast charge for the blunt. I really enjoyed this one. This has a speed of 11. This is a level 3 glaive. You would think it to be quite horrible, right? But it's not, because we still get the charge mechanic. The bug is plenty fast enough, and we can enjoy all the benefits of the extra damage and everything. So we go in here. Oops, I have the Tetris seal. I shouldn't have that on. Boom! We can still get our stuns, and we get some good attacks. So, anyways, I hope you guys found this interesting. Let me know down in the comments below if you have anything interesting that you found that you want to add. And don't forget, Sever Type is great because it does get Elemental added to the Kinsect, and Blunt is great because it will allow you to get some KOs during a hunt on a non-blunt weapon. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Until next time, happy hunting.